It's August 1st here at the Proving Grounds, and of course Daniel and I and the rest of the team are thinking about deer season. But there's still some prep work to do, especially in our food plots. Today, I want to share about hidey-ho food plots. Some people call them kill food plots, whatever. They're about 1/8 of an acre, give or take where you're putting them, about 5,000 square feet. You want to be able to produce enough forage in these small plots so a couple old nannies don't come in the first week and browse it all off to the ground. You're looking at it, it looks all brown, and I'll bet some folks are saying, well, that rascal used a herbicide and treated it. But if you look, there's the occasional weed here or there. We've just been that dry this summer. Now, rained almost 1.5 inches or a bit more here this weekend. But before that, we've been many weeks without rain. It's just so dry that whatever was green and good, the deer consumed in this small plot, and you're seeing the residual, the fall release from last fall that's still standing. Again, we haven't used any herbicide, so there's very few weeds in here. I'm going to estimate 1 every 10 feet or something like that. I'm not going to spend any more money or put those synthetic chemicals on this plot. I'm not worried about the few weeds that are in here. But I do need to think about preparing this plot for planting it soon. August 1st again, and August 15th will be 60 days before our first expected frost date. I like to plant 60 to 45 days before the first frost so the plants have ample time to become established and put enough biomass on. Archery season here in Missouri opens September 15th, so I really like it if I can plant early enough that there's enough forage out here to attract deer. I've got a tree stand right behind the guy's filming over here and one over here, and you may ask why there's 2 stands on this small plot. And that's so, given a different wind direction, we can approach, hunt, and exit without alerting deer. You don't have a great place like this and only be able to hunt it with one wind direction. If you look really close, I can see a bunch of clover that just sprouted from this recent rain we had. Now, the fall release blend had Balancia and crimson clover in there, and I let it go long enough. I'm sure some of them made seeds, and you're seeing that sprouting, and that's just fine. I don't believe it will be thick enough to outcompete my fall crop. You may be saying, ooh, a free crop of clover. Who doesn't want that? But clover is a great part of a deer's diet when it's green, lush, and growing. But when it gets cold, that clover is going to go dormant and lay down, and you'll be left with a brown spot to hunt during the late season. That's just another reason I always want blends. I want something that's palatable to deer during the early, mid, and late season, and hence, I'll broadcast a blend on this plot. Ideal food plots, kill plots, whatever you call them, their mission is to bring deer in for hunters to see them, to get them in a known location, not to provide nutrition for the whole herd. There's simply not enough area to do that. So I plant a different blend in my small plots than I do my large plots. In this plot, I'm planting the hidey-ho blend. That's a new blend this year with green cover. And I've just taken what I've learned throughout all the years and put the species in there that pop out of ground quickly and again are very palatable early, mid, and late season. On blends for these small plots, I'm not as worried about improving the soil health as I am in larger plots. Now, we're certainly making gains here. Man, the soil, this is a rock pit when we started, and it's turning black and looking good. Obviously produced a tall crop last fall. But my primary mission is to attract deer throughout the season. Secondary is to improve the soil's health. One example of that, in this blend, I'll have way more oats, which come out of the ground pretty quickly and are more palatable than cereal rye. I have some cereal rye in here for weed suppression. You can see the stem standing up. And deer eat cereal rye when it's really cold in that late season. But early season, before those acorns start raining, man, oats, buckwheats, even a few soybeans, radishes, those are really attractive early on. And I want to make sure I have plenty of those in the blend to attract deer before acorns hit the ground. You can learn more about the hidey-ho blend at greencoverfoodplots.com or reach out to Colt and Tony at the phone number shown below.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, Lacrosse Footwear, Moultrie Mobile, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, RTP Outdoors, Fourth Arrow, Hunt Stand, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Ward Laboratories, Burris Optics, National Land Realty, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
So what am I going to do now? Well, I've got two options, and it's totally dependent on how much rain we get between now and August 15th. We just had about 1.5 inches or so, so it's pretty wet right now. There's a fair amount of duff. I don't like broadcasting after rain, so I could wait for the next rain that's forecast and broadcast a heavy rate on this plot. Heavy rate because there's leaves down here and duff, and not all seeds are going to make contact with the soil. That's another reason you want to broadcast seed right before rain. Those raindrops are falling at about 30 miles per hour, and they literally help push or move those seeds to the lowest level, which will be contacting the soil. A little bit better plan that I like, and we don't show much on Growing Deer, is create a fire break around this, and if it gets really dry again, simply use a real simple and safe prescribed fire to remove a lot of this top duff. And when you do that, the nitrogen, which there's not much in this dead vegetation material, will go up in the atmosphere, but the P and K, they're going to go with the ash right down into the soil. It's actually a little fertilizer boost. Now remember, plants, this dead vegetation, is like an iceberg, and the really good stuff is beneath the soil, like about 2/3 of an iceberg is below the water level. That fire, all the heat's rising, and it's not going to impact the decaying roots that are below the soil. One thing I won't do is bring my little disc or tiller in here and churn up the soil. I probably couldn't do it here anyway because it's so rocky. But once I do that, I literally kill whatever earthworms, or most of them, the beneficial microbes I've developed in the soil, and I put way more air in the soil than what God really intended. And when you put too much oxygen in the soil, then what infiltrates through, decayed root hose and worm hose and insect hose, that tends to favor the bad bacteria and kill the good bacteria. So I'd rather just prepare a seed bed by using fire, real inexpensive, easy to do, and then broadcast my seed right before the next rain than disturb the soil. If you had a great big weed base in here, the deer ate everything, wiped it out, and weeds really took over, you may need a pass with the herbicide. I had a really good fall crop last year and enough mulch that weeds are simply not an issue. And you can do that also by planting really good blends in the fall to produce enough tonnage in the spring that they'll suppress most of the weeds. Tree stands are hung and trimmed, just waiting to see what plan we use, and that'll be dictated by the weather. And I'm excited to start showing you hunts from this food plot in a month or so. Messing with food plots and understanding the natural soil cycles is a great way to get outside and enjoy creation, and hopefully result in providing some good quality venison for your family. But more important than all of that, I hope you take time every day to be quiet and intentionally seek the Creator's will for your life. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.